Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be taking a look at a believed pre-production prototype Krynoid action figure from the Seeds of Doom, which was intended to be released as a builder figure during Character Options' classic series Wave 2 back in early 2010. I'd just like to clarify that this is a believed authentic prototype that I purchased through a private seller. These rarely pop up for sale, but I did get very lucky with this one, as it's one I've always wanted. As some people might not be aware of the origin of this figure, it was intended to be part of the classic series Wave 2 back in early 2010. That's the wave with the Earthshock Cyberman, the Deadly Assassin Master and Morbius. This builder figure was to be spread across those figures in a similar vein to that of the K1 robot and the Tomb of the Cyberman controller. It is unknown how many entered production, but it is believed to be around 20 or 25, just as a small test run in the factory. Since then, some of them have entered the hands of private collectors like myself, and one thing to note is that this sculpt was then later reused for the Claws of Axon set with the Master and Axon creature. I believe that was the same year as well. And then eventually the Krynoid was officially released in Forbidden Planet again, with some updates to the sculpt that I'll show throughout the video. One thing to note is that this figure does come apart very easily in a similar way to the Cyber controller did, further proving that this probably is the builder figure from that wave. And finally, taking a closer look at the figure, as you can see it has been moulded in a brown plastic rather than the black that the official one later did. And I can confirm that this is definitely moulded in brown plastic, because if you take a look at the joints on the arms and the leg, there's no paint rub or anything, and even when I've took it apart to show it as a builder figure, you can see there's no paint apps of orange or the black underneath. And looking across the body, you can see the different shades of lighter brown and greens highlighting the sculpt nicely. And bringing in the Axon creature and the official Krynoid to compare to this one, one thing that I have noticed is that all the vines on the head are different. As you can see on this prototype, they are a lot thicker and shorter when compared to the other two. So this goes to show that the sculpt was changed between that and the Axon being released. I'm not sure why, but looking at the low-res image from about 2010-2011, you can see the same sculpted veins on that head sculpt. Taking a look at the rest of the body, I can safely say that the vines on the front, back, and the hands and the feet match that of the Axon. Works very nicely for a variant Krynoid in my collection. And whilst I've got the three together, you can see how different the paint apps are between the three to show off the details of the figures. But one thing to say is that it is nice to have a bit of Doctor Who history in my hands, showcasing the evolution of this figure sculpt. And I can safely say that I own every variant of this figure now, if you can technically call the prototype a variant. Zooming in with the figure, if you have either of them officially released, you know what to expect with the sculpt. It's fantastic. It gives that proper classic suit-esque monster design. I think all fans can agree that it makes for a fantastic action figure, and I can imagine how popular that builder figure wave would have been if it featured this Krynoid, both with kids and collectors. Looking at the articulation, we know what to expect. The head can do a full 360-degree swivel, as can both arms, whilst moving out on a ball joint. The waist can also swivel as well, whilst both legs swivel on a Y joint and can do a 90-degree kick to the side. And finally, both feet can rotate 360 degrees. So I don't have any information on how this figure would have been split across the builder figure wave, but one thing to note is that this figure does break down into 7 separate pieces, whereas the final wave had 6 figures, so I'm not sure whether there was planned to be a 7th figure in that wave as well, or they were going to put 2 pieces together, like keep the head on the torso or something. There's not really a lot else to say about this prototype, but if you do have any questions or any more information, feel free to let me know in the comments below or on my Instagram account. Like I've said before, I am ecstatic to have this figure, like I really am. I remember looking at the photos on Doctor Who Toysnet back in the day and wanting the prototype Krynoid. I was happy when the official one came out. I loved the Seeds of Doom. It's a fantastic 4th Doctor story. But if you are interested in unreleased Doctor Who figure reviews, then feel free to check out my review of the fully articulated 10th Doctor. And if you have enjoyed this video, please feel free to like, comment and subscribe, and follow my Instagram where I show off custom action figures. I'm sure I will be back soon with some more Doctor Who figure reviews, but until then, goodbye for now.